Okay, welcome to Donnatella Virtual College. Our motto is affordable, convenient, and affordable learning that's accessible. So the college mainly focuses on the college mainly focuses on business data analytics, QuickBooks, and also other software installation. So not only do we focus on QuickBooks, but we also work with other accounting packages and also the reporting channels, e.g. Power BI, Sage, and the rest, isn't it? Then also, again, the other one is Tally. So for any relevant information, you can visit our website. The link will be given in the description box down below. Also, you can call, text, or WhatsApp us via the number provided on your screen. So this is just to insist that the college is virtual, isn't it? Because this is the new trend. We won't go back to the old classroom setting. So mainly our classes will be offered through Zoom or Microsoft Teams. And all our classes are always recorded and some videos may be uploaded on YouTube. You can also watch the videos on YouTube at Donnatella Virtual College, or you can and not or and remember to also subscribe to the channel and also watch the videos. So I'd like to introduce myself. Like, my name is CPA Lusenaka. I'm a CPA graduate and currently a student of B-Commerce at fourth year KCA University. And so mainly that is the basic introduction. Then I'm also a part-time lecturer at KCE College. So again, this reminds me that also you can also get these classes physically. That is, if you don't want the virtual classes, you can just come to KCE College. Then you just say you are looking for CPA Lusenaka. Then you will liaise to me. Remember to contact me via the number there provided on the screen somewhere. So today, this class, we were looking at QuickBooks. We're looking at QuickBooks. So let me share the details here. So we'll be looking at introduction to QuickBooks. I will start by how do you create a new company, that is creating of a new company. We also look at customization of QuickBooks to suit your business. So there are some customizations that you must make so that it suits your business. Then we also look at the review of incomes and expenses. Then we also look at something simple like navigations in QuickBooks. So these are the keyboard shortcuts, isn't it? And also just the normal shortcuts via the mouse. Then also after that, we will start on working with the chart of account, a very important function or feature in QuickBooks, which we must consider. So, because QuickBooks is more or less a practical one, isn't it? It is not advisable that maybe you teach it in theory. So maybe I'll share the QuickBooks screen. Okay, this is a QuickBooks screen. I'm using currently on this machine is Pro 2016, QuickBooks Pro 2016. Then remember we say that we can also install for you the QuickBooks at a fair price. Remember we install from 2016 to 2018. If you want QuickBooks 2018, we'll also get it. So we just start basically by saying that if you open a new QuickBooks, isn't it? This is what this pop-up is what comes what comes to the screen first, isn't it? So here, this one will show the previous companies that you've created. Let's say you are working with multiple companies, isn't it? This one will show the multiple companies that you've created. Well, if you want to create a new company, you start from here, create a new company. You can also go open or restore an existing company, then open a sample file. So in our layout today, we were to start with the create a new company. So I'll click there on create a new company. Then it will be loading. So we'll just wait patiently. Okay. Then so if you are going now to set up a new company, it is called the Quickbook Setup. So here on Quickbook Setup, there are some other options that are not being displayed here. Maybe I'll click this drop down menu here, isn't it? So again, this one is you can see if you are maybe you have been using QuickBooks for a while, it will be advisable that you just go directly to start setup. Yeah. But for a learner, isn't it? It will be very advisable that you go here to advanced setup, isn't it? You don't go to setup directly, you go to advanced setup. So it will be very easy for you in that it will be providing for you the details that are wanted instead of having okay, just a minute, I share something. So okay, we will go on there. So I've just maybe I don't know if the back. I'll click okay. We will go back. So I said if you are new to QuickBooks, you don't go directly to start the new company, isn't it? You go to advanced setup. So sometimes the advanced setup can be just down here, or you just click this drop down menu, then you click advanced setup. It will bring you to this face or I'll say a pop-up screen whereby you'll be require the company name, the legal name, so as registered, then also the address. So this is just the relevant information that is needed there. So I'll just input in a company name. So there's some file I send you on a construction company. I just named the file construction. I never gave other details. Okay, again, I never named the company. So we'll give the company name. Let's say Wema Constructions Limited. So Wema. So the good thing with QuickBooks is that you can only learn from a practical perspective. Because if you learn it on theory, it will not be will not enter in properly. And then the company name, this is you see what is given in star. This star is what is really required, isn't it? So other information like the legal name, the tax ID. So the legal name is the name that we'll be using to pay your taxes. So the tax ID number, isn't it? So because you're just working with an introduction information, there is no need to give those ones. They are not that really needed. But again, I'll just also give maybe the street address. Maybe let's say you are at Mfangano. Of course, the city here will be Nairobi. So these are just details which you give it. Also, the country here you select other because Kenya is not included. So these states are mainly for US. There will be no need for us to put in those ones. So from there now you click next. We put in the, let me check the chat. Okay, no problem at 6:30. The break will be there. Let me just also work with my phone so that I won't forget that one. So I said, so here these are just the names. So it can be Fangano. Then you click next. So on clicking next, here's where it takes you to where now you must select the industry in which your company falls in. We have different industries. So the essence is that it will provide the accounts relating to that industry. Remember that different industry have different accounts, isn't it? Like something like maybe let's say agriculture. You see, if you are doing agriculture, you'll have different expenses other than the one that is doing construction. So here's where you look which where is this company industry falling into? Is it doing accounting or bookkeeping? Is it an advertising firm? Is it an agriculture, automotive? And there are very many. So for the example that we gave out, it was construction, isn't it? And that's just the general contractor, isn't it? There are very many industries. So you must also look and select which one does it fall into. So like here, ours is falling in general contractors. So I'll click constructions, general contractor, the construction company that I gave out. Then you click next. So again, they will ask the organization of the company. How is the company organized? Is it a sole proprietorship? Is it a partnership? Or is it a limited liability partnership? Isn't it? Remember you have LLP. Or is it a limited liability company or a corporation? So mainly it will fall under a corporation, also known as regular or C corporation. Also it can be a limited company, but mainly here because it's an example and we're just coming into QuickBooks the first time, we must and again we must also put this information there so that now we can open the home screen and know you can see all these things others are not active, isn't it? And only file and help. So you must input in these company details so that we can be able to access the and know how we use QuickBooks. So I'll click corporation, then I click next. Then they will ask you select the first month of your physical year. So the first month of the physical year will be always, it will be depending on your data. So mainly we leave it at January. Then I click next. Then you'll be asked also for an administrator password of an administrator password. So this is the password you input in so that you protect your book, isn't it? Or you protect your data. So I'll just put it as 123. 123. Remember, you are maybe from an accountant perspective, and maybe you're using the same computers, isn't it? Nobody is you don't want somebody to come in and maybe mess up your data. Then you click next. Then so we'll be going to create our company file where we click next again. Then it will ask us where we want to save the file. So mainly we can do it on the desktop. So here I just select desktop, isn't it? So you look where you want it, isn't it? Maybe I'll do it and I have something to do with QuickBooks. or what is it? Yes, this one. Then I click open. Here I click save. Then it will be saving. So as it saves on that note, we will take a 5 minutes break for the Muslim prayers. Then I will be back at, let's say, at 6:40. We'll be back at 6:40. We'll take a 10 minutes break. Sorry, we started late, but we will recover earlier. So as it saves, we'll take a 10 minutes break. Then we'll be back and then we'll be inside QuickBooks. Okay, so after now, that is what we call creating a new company. Maybe as I can just share the PowerPoint. This is what we've done now, creating a new company. So it's just a very simple step, and it is always the first step in QuickBooks. You must create a new company. Okay, then let's move again back to our company. So then we're now customizing QuickBooks for our business in this case. So there's a file that I provided earlier, and the file was on construction company. So mainly for this first example, that is what I'll recommend that we use. So that is the file that we'll be using. So maybe I can say to get the file, you can just liaise with me. So the file is just there. Then you click on next. So they'll ask you, what do you sell, isn't it? So it depends with the type of company. For example, what you are going to learn with, it's a construction company. So the construction company provides services. If maybe it was maybe like a supermarket or a shop or any other or a manufacturing company, it will be working with products. And then there's that company that works with the both. That is the service and the products. So it will depend where your company falls in. Then you select where your company falls in. Let's say, for example, we are working with a construction company. Then we will work with services only. So I'll click services. Then I click next. Then do you charge sales tax? Sales tax, isn't it? So there are some things that go through VAT, but in our case, for our construction company, we will not include the sales tax, so we leave it at no. Then we click next. So they all depend with the company. Do you want to create estimates in QuickBooks? Of course, for a construction company, it must have estimates. So these ones include the quotes, the bids or proposal, isn't it? If maybe you'll be doing a quotation for a customer before actually he pays, that's what we call estimates. So if you'll be doing quotations for a construction company, of course, a construction company mainly works with quotes, isn't it? So you click yes there, then you click next. Using statements in QuickBooks. So these are billing statements. So of course, you see, like, will you be billing your customers or will you be giving them invoices? So some of them are just self-explanatory here, e.g., an attorney invoices a client for multiple services provided. If the invoice is not paid, the attorney can send them a client a reminder statement. So these are what you are calling the billing statements. Of course, because you are working with a construction company, they'll not be paying at once, isn't it? They'll be paying over time, isn't it? Sometimes you can find a customer that is having maybe an overdue payment. So of course we must use the billing statements. Then yes, then you click next. Then using progress invoicing. And sometimes you can see here you are already being told recommended for your business. You'll ask yourself why? Because they are back. We had already taken this on to be a construction company. We selected a construction company, the industry. Isn't it? That's why they are saying this is maybe recommended or not recommended, because at the back we selected that this is the construction company. Then so they're asking of progress invoicing. So progress invoice is like payment of in installments or after a major milestone in a project, isn't it? Like sometimes, this one is actually recommended in construction companies, in that you'll find that as times goes by, isn't it? Maybe the project is on, if you do 25% of the project, we pay you this amount. That is what we call progress invoicing. If you reach 50%, we'll pay you this amount, isn't it? So, like examples here, a flooring contractor bids for partial payment before a job begins, when materials are delivered and when the job is completed, or a consultant bids at a major milestone in a project. Is it? So for a construction company, progress invoicing will be recommended. But for other companies, this one will not mainly be recommended. Then managing bills you owe. So here on managing bills in other terms, is do you track your accounts payable? Isn't it? The bills you owe are the accounts payable. So do you track your account payables, or do you want to track your account payables? Knowing what money you owe, in there you've been told your accounts payable is an important part of your business for cash flow. QuickBooks can help you manage your cash flow by knowing which vendors you owe money to, tracking how much money you owe to them, then reminding you when the bills are due. So of course we'll click yes, because we'll be tracking our accounts payable to know how much we're gonna deni watu wangapi in other terms. Then you click next. Tracking time. So QuickBooks can help you track time spent by you, your partners or your employees or contractors, so on, e.g. the bills, customers from the spend on project, analyze time on the project planning and job costing, pay hourly employees and contractors, isn't it? So in our example, we don't want to, because we don't, this one is mainly applicable if you are having employees that let me say per employees that are being paid per hour basis or per time basis, isn't it? Maybe you are paying your people doing on the job, isn't it? But now for our case, we don't want to track time, isn't it? So, but it was QuickBooks has also that feature. Maybe you want to track this and this project took this long, and this employee he works for these hours, so this how much is to be paid, isn't it? But you are just doing a practical example, and it's just an introductory one, so we don't need that one for the meantime. So I'll click no, then I click next. Then do you have employees? So it is asking you, of course. So if you click yes here, you have two options. You have the employees, so this one will be normal employees, or you have contractors. So it will depend. You see, for a construction company, it can have a contractors, isn't it? But for a normal company, maybe it will have an employee. So this one will have contractors. Then we click next. Then so of course now we have of course customized our QuickBooks. So we are just to go to charts of account. So as we prepare for charts of account, so you see here we are being told you will need the dates to use as the starting point of tracking your business in QuickBooks. So then you must also understand how you want to categorize your business. That is the income and the expenses, which was our next one, which was review of income and expenses. So I'll click next. Then here, now you have to select the date, which year is your account's beginning, isn't it? So sometimes you can use this today, the first day, maybe if you are starting the business that day, isn't it? But maybe you can go to January, because remember there back we had selected that our year begins in 1st January, isn't it? So we can select that we begin our year here. Then you click next. Then here now will be the review of income and expenses, isn't it? So you check what you don't want. You uncheck what you don't want, and you check what you want in your business. So with the file provided, we had some expenses, isn't it? We had some expenses. We had some expenses. So we never had ask my accountant, but this one is always good from an organization's perspective. Maybe something is not balancing or it is just off. So we put it in ask my accountant, because sometimes these QuickBooks is mainly run by the junior accountants, so that you can ask the main accountant why is this expense. So you just put it as one of the accounts there. Then proceed from sale of asset. It will depend if we are to do any disposal, isn't it? Interest income. Have we done any investment or insurance proceed received? So you just check utilities, mainly electricity comes under here. Telephone expense, so this one will be there. Then rent, professional fees, office supplies. So I'm checking the ones that are checked. And then you can see like insurance expense. So there are some that are submerged. You can see that they are not on the same line as other these expenses, isn't it? So this one means that they are inside the insurance expense. You can take it as one, or if you had maybe others, you could also check them, isn't it? But for our case, we will not be taking that one in. Then depreciation expense, of course, you must consider. Business license, I'm just looking for bank charges, auto and truck expenses, because you are a construction company. Of course, that one is a major expense with us. So you can see the good thing of starting from the top, making it a construction company. So if you are a newbie and you just went directly to start with quick startup, you never go to advanced startup, it will really confuse you. You will not be able to actually put in the accounts as required, because but also again, as we go by, we'll be advancing our knowledge on the same. Then workers compensation insurance, because they are prone to accident. So maybe I'll remove this blueprint bond. I think we don't have any bond. Let's say we've not rented any equipment. Just removing, and then also the construction income. This is an income that we'll be getting. Maybe we have some rent, isn't it? You can also take some rental income. Then you click on next. Then so here you have been told you finished the. We always call it the new file setup. You finished the new file setup. Then so you click here, go to setup. Then so here is mainly where the approach differs. You can see here there are some details that are working with, and this add the people you do business with. These include customers, isn't it? Add the product and services you sell. Add your bank account. So here it differs with the approach. Mainly for me, I'll recommend that you just close this setup here. Then it will take you to the home page, isn't it? So you see the people you work with will be vendors, customers, banking, isn't it? Everything. So this one here, it will be very easy. You see, the intention is that we devise a very easier approach method Then, so we are at the home page. Here is where we will be introducing navigation in QuickBooks. So let me just share the opener page. So we've done creating a new company. We've also done customization, then review of income and expenses. So we are doing navigations in QuickBooks. Before we go to chart of account, so I just show you some simple navigations. So I'm not seeing the, okay, here it is. So here it is, the home page. So on top here, this is what we call the menu bar. Again, you can move to all these respective windows by just going on the formula bar above there. Then, so this being the home page, here on the right is what we call insights, isn't it? So this is like the dashboard, isn't it? So because we've not done anything, isn't it? That's why everything is zero. But here, this one works as a dashboard for that. So here on the home page, so mainly maybe I can do some navigations. So first off, we will work with the, you can see here we have something called the left icon bar, isn't it? Sometimes it can go in, isn't it? This is called the left icon bar. It can go in and also come out. And remember also this one, you can also widen it so that it takes everything. Then this one can go in and also come back. So as working. Then we also have what we call the menu bar. So let me you click on here on view. Then, so this left icon bar, it will depend where you want it. You can decide to put it on top, isn't it? So that it will come here on top here, isn't it? You can also click on view. You can decide maybe to put it on left. Then that is the icon bar, isn't it? We have talked of the menu bar, which has this file edit, view, list, favorite, and then we have the left icon bar. It goes in and out, isn't it? Then, sorry for this one. This one is just prompting me to upgrade, but there's no problem with that. Then, so I can talk of also the what we call the open window list. So here again on view. So these are the navigations, isn't it? Here you see open list. Again, it will come here on the left bar. So you see here on view, if you click this list, it will come here on the left. So let me just say that maybe I've opened some customer center, isn't it? I've also opened the vendor center, isn't it? Also, maybe I don't want to go to bank. Maybe let me do employee. I've also opened the employee center, isn't it? So with the view here and then open window list, isn't it? So it just shows a list of windows that are opened, isn't it? So it will be very easy for me to navigate so that I can move from the employee center to home just like that, isn't it? Easily. Maybe I'm getting a vendor. I just click here to vendor. I go to the vendor center easily, isn't it? So this is what we call the open window list, isn't it? A very important navigation tool. You must consider that one a very important navigation tool. Then another thing is another navigation is through Alt, isn't it? So if I press Alt, isn't it? Then you can see there are some letters here that are underlined, isn't it? There are some letters that are underlined. So if I press Alt, then I press the letter. Let me say I'm going to company. I press C, isn't it? It will take me here. Then again, you go with what is underlined. Here, if you want to go to homepage H, company snapshot O, some lack, isn't it? If you want to go to chart of account, isn't it? It will take you to charts of account. We'll come to charts of account later on. We are just doing some introductory part on the same, isn't it? So I've said with Alt, you just press Alt and then you move with the letters that have been underlined, isn't it? Another navigation tool. Then, so if you want to close a window, you just press Escape, isn't it? So Escape on the keyboard, just press once, you'll see that the Employee Center has been closed. You can see the active window is at the Vendor Center, isn't it? If I just press Escape, the Vendor Center will be closed, isn't it? The Vendor Center will be closed. Even here at the charts of account, I just press Escape and that one will be closed. At the Customer Center, I press Escape and also that one will be closed. And don't be careful, don't close the Home, isn't it? Because you are still working on the same. So I've talked of the menu bar. I've also talked of the icon bar where you can put it on different locations. I've also talked of open window list, and I've also talked of Alt plus the underlined letters. Then I've also talked of, so there are some, I've not talked of them. I've also talked of escape key to close the windows. So what we'll do, we'll just take also a short break so that I work on something. Then I'm back. I'm kind of a little bit busy, but don't worry. This is just the introduction class. And you can see we don't have even adequate students. And again, the class is being recorded. You'll have access to it. So we shall also begin over with the new students. Don't worry, isn't it? Let me just take a break. Then I'll be back.